Hey, hello there. This is Frisky Biscuit. Welcome to our podcast. We are so happy to see you. And I'm telling you what, we got all kinds of interesting stuff for you today. So why any further ado, my partner is with me.
And Lisa. Hello, everyone.
Let's do that again.
And Lisa.
There we go.
Yes.
Oh, I tell you what, this is the podcast that probably ought not to be here, and you wouldn't believe what we go through to get this thing lined up, wired up, and get ourselves up and running.
For you.
For you.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you, we got some.
For us, we enjoy it. It's fun.
We got some cool stuff today. You've really worked your taily off today to find some interesting things, and we've got a really interesting interview today.
Yes, with Brandon. Can I say, let's go, Brandon? I did have to say it in the interview.
Poor Brandon.
I just couldn't help myself.
He's going to watch this and want to slap you.
I know. Thank you, Brandon, for being part of our show today. And it's been a really interesting week out there. When I was driving around this week, I saw so many old RVs. I mean, I keep telling you guys, get your stuff out of the mothballs, but I didn't mean get the mothballs out and drive them around. I mean, one of them, I had to stop myself. I wanted to go knock on the door and say, do you still have the green shed carpet? I mean, it was so old, it would look like it was falling apart. If I was going back today into the workforce and starting all over, I think I'd be an RV tech. Because, I mean, that's what I saw all week with the old RVs.
I think that'd actually be a really fun career. These RVs are so high tech, they're like working on airplanes kind of, and it looks like fun to me, but that RV tech thing, there are so many RVers out there, and most of them are like me, don't know how to fix anything. So they'd probably do quite well.
We have this great, we let go of our AAA and we got FMCA, and that's what's its name?
Yeah, FMCA. Family Motorhome Coach Association.
Yeah, you can call an RV tech and they will come out to you. And it's just like having AAA, only it's for your motorhome and your vehicles. AAA doesn't have the facilities to come out and fix our motorhome on the road. And they don't have the techs. So I'm really happy, and it was less expensive than AAA.
It was. And actually, we have this little fancy sports car we drive around once in a while, and we don't drive it as much as we probably ought to. And one of the things happens, the battery runs down. So I decided to go drive it the other day, and it was driving around fine. And then all of a sudden I attempted to start it and wouldn't start. And I thought, oh, great, we haven't got AAA. And then I called Lisa because she's my AAA, and she says, well, let's call FMCA. And I'll tell you what, we did that. And usually with AAA, we wait about an hour to get a tow truck, and they're about half rude sometimes and act like they're all being put out. Well, I'll tell you what, they were there in about 10 minutes.
And it was a really nice truck. I mean, it was a flatbed, so if it had to be towed, since it's a nice car.
And the young man that was driving it was exceptional.
It was a great experience.
It was a good experience. So I couldn't, and if you have a motorhome that covers your cars, all the cars and stuff. So, and it's a lot less than AAA.
And they have a concierge service, and, we're not any type of associates or subsidiaries of them. We're just saying our experience with FMCA has been great. And all the services they provide for less money than we're paying for AAA, definitely worth taking.
We only endorse people we're using and feel good about. We're not really taking sponsorships right now. We're looking for a good sponsor, but we're very picky on who we look at, and they're not one of them. But they've been around for a long time, and they're the real deal. They got some insurance programs for you that are pretty amazing. And they have, if you get sick out there, you have a wreck, they'll come and get your motorhome home, all that kind of stuff. So I would strongly recommend, if you own a motorhome, to check out FMCA. We haven't even got their website. We weren't even going to talk about it.
I think it's just fmca.com. I believe it is. And also, they have a lot of discounts. Discounts on rental cars, discounts on all kinds of hotels. So if you're out there living on the road and you feel like going to a hotel, they'll give you a discount. So we're really impressed with them.
We are. And I'm not sure if you have a fifth wheel or a trailer, if they cover that as well. Do they? Do you know that?
I don't know that. That's something you'd have to go and check out.
Because they call it motorhome coach, so
I think it is
that's
things
a motorized
with
vehicle.
Motors that are out there. Hey, you know what? It is coming up. It's the second Saturday of June. So we're in the middle of May right now. By the way, it's here in Idaho. Summer has sprung. It's a beautiful day out today in mid-70s, really nice. Which we haven't heard of for, since October maybe?
We had an extended winter here.
Yes. But coming up, the second Saturday of June is National Go RVing Day. So that's the second Saturday of June. So go celebrate that somewhere with your friends and get out there and enjoy that National RV Day coming up. Yeah,
exactly. Well, our guest today is an interesting individual. We're going to go into that here in a few minutes, but he's a very interesting guy living down in Texas, and we watch his videos on YouTube, Brandon Hensley. And we have this beautiful Mercedes motorhome from Leisure Travel Van. The way we discovered him is he had found this radio fix. Somehow when Mercedes delivers their vans, they have this one little radio one little wire that's hooked up, and the radio doesn't work. It sounds like a transistor radio, but all the speakers in the door, and he found a hack for that to fix that, and it's like one wire. You just take one wire off, and all of a sudden this thing comes to life. It's amazing. So that's how we found this guy. And he has some really cool videos, especially if you're a leisure travel van owner. So that's going to come up soon. But you've got some interesting stuff right now that you've researched all week. You've been reading tidbits of it. So let's get to it. Oh, by the way, before we do that, let's talk about road warriors, what that means, because Brandon's a road warrior.
Yeah, Brandon's a road warrior. So it's anybody that's out on the road, whether you're full-time, part-time, just weekenders, or you're working in an industry that you travel on the road a lot. So if you're on the road an hour, 2 hours a day, and you want something to listen to, we put together a program called The Road Warriors for you, so we can go and interview you. And we have these beautiful stickers called Frisky Biscuit Road Warriors for our podcast, and also some cool little pins that we've been giving out lately. So if you want to be interviewed, give us a shout out on our website, www.frisky-biscuit.com, or you can also comment on our YouTube channel at Frisky Biscuit Podcast.
Please do. Also on YouTube, we would really appreciate you liking and subscribing and dinging and all that kind of stuff you got to do there, because we wanted to build it up to about at least 1,000 people that watch our podcast, not only listen to it on Spotify and Apple and all that stuff, but so we can live stream. Their criteria is you got to have at least 1,000 people on your channel before they want you to live stream, because it takes a lot of bandwidth and they don't want to waste their time.
And we're going at the end of the month ourselves for a couple of weeks, and we would love to live stream at the end of May, beginning of June, and into June, and into through all the summer. So we've got to get our subscribers up on YouTube. And I also wanted to point out Gary's paraphernalia today. He is wearing our shirt, our motorhome shirt, and the hat. The hat is so cool.
I am modeling our gear. Yeah. You were going to wear a blue hat, and you didn't do it today.
No, I didn't. I wanted
because
to
your
do
hair
my
is very
hair.
cool.
I'm a little foo-foo today, just to do something
your
different.
Your hair's very
Sunday.
cool. I admire anybody who has hair. I can't, because I can't take it. I've got my headphones on. Well, anyway, I feel all right about my hair as long as I cover it up. The good thing about my hair is it doesn't get wind blown. Well, that's not necessarily true either. I've seen some pretty scary.
He looks like Einstein.
Some pretty scary window pictures of me.
Well, having the hat to cover up is
that helps.
cool.
That helps.
People are liking the hats. It comes in like a blue jean color, and then this off orange, like a burnt orange color.
This logo we've got on here is a cartoon of us. You see it on our logo up here, and it's us in our van, and it gets people's attention. It's kind of funny. And so check out our merch. It's on the website, right?
Yep, frisky-biscuit.com.
All right, what do you got for us today?
All right, so we're going to talk about those that are full-timers today, what they are saying amongst themselves and to us. One of the things they say is they're not on a perpetual vacation like we think. We think that if you're going RVing, you're retired or not, you have children, that you're out there, you're living as locals in a lot of temporary different places. So, and they say that and we've done this, and I'm sure all of you that have RV'd have done this, is it takes you a minute or two, sometimes a few minutes when you wake up. When you wake up, we have all our shades down, and we are in this cozy little bedroom area, and then we put our shades up, and we're like, oh, yeah, we're in the forest today.
Like, where in the hell are we now?
Yeah. Yeah, so that happens to them a lot, even though they're RVing all the time. So they say they're not on perpetual vacation. They're just going temporarily to a lot of different places. And moving's not really stressful any longer or expensive like those of us that have a stick and bricks house and we move from a house to a house, because they have all their goods with them for the most part. They also say they don't do a lot of shopping anymore. You know, those of us in the U.S. especially, and Western culture, we're been kind of pushed and said it's perfectly fine to go shopping all the time. For them, they don't. They only replace the things that are worn out with maybe better things or items that can work for many different purposes. So they've really curtailed their less junk and enjoyed their adventures more, which I love that part. And I think we've done that a lot more too, because you only have limited space.
We've really thinned out. You know, I used to have so much crap laying around that you just don't require. And, you know, when we finally moved from California back to Idaho, man, talk about thinning out. I used a big dumpster.
Yeah.
Got rid of things that I couldn't live without.
Yeah. I know, it's really refreshing too. It's like big pieces of your life are just gone, and you have room for new pieces in your life and new people in your life too, because you're not spending all your time with your stuff. You know, the full-time RVers also have said that they have constant neighbors. Now, that could be good or bad. If you don't like your neighbors in an RV and you're full-time, you can just pick up and go to the next place. However, sometimes those neighbors you may be stuck with for a few days. So it's good and bad. They're also, they say they get to know their neighbors, they become really good friends, and then they go on their way. So, you know, it's a two-edged coin on that part of it, of having neighbors.
Yeah. Well, you know, we met a lot of really cool people out there on the trail. And, you know, the thing it is when you're living in a neighborhood like we do here, which is a beautiful neighborhood. I mean, it's probably one of the best ones I've ever lived in. You still don't get to know people because everybody's busy. They're running around, you know, you got your life. But when we're out there camping, people seem to be more relaxed.
More relaxed, and they actually have more time because they're not spending their time mowing their yards, cleaning their stuff, getting ready to go to work. They're working in their home. Their home goes along with them, which is another thing. They have all their comforts with them, and they travel. As they travel, they also said, which was something very interesting that I didn't even think about, is how important their vehicle is to them, whether they're doing a towable, a fifth wheel, or a motorhome. You know, us in the Sticks and Bricks house, we have a vehicle, and if it breaks down, we call somebody, we can rent a car. For them, their vehicle is the most important part for them. Right. So they tend to take care of it a little bit better, I would think, than the people that have stick and brick houses.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
And they also said sometimes they're afraid to stay in their home when a big storm comes in, which I get that. We've had a big storm for us, and we were parked underneath a tree, and we actually moved to another site because
you have flexibility.
The branches didn't look so great. So if you're in a big storm or even in the tornado belt of the U.S., it's probably not the best to stay in your motorhome.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, with the motorhome, you are able to move around, and they're tough anyway. They're built tough. We've seen a few disasters where a tree has caved one in or something, and things do happen. But, boy, at least you can physically move around. You've got some flexibility. So, anyway, that's enough on that.
Well, one other thing they said, actually two other things. One is they said sometimes they're forcing themselves to go outdoors, which you think, you know, you're traveling around all the time that you go outdoors, yet we also are people of habit, so you tend to work on the road, you tend to stay inside a little bit more. So some of them have brought their own kind of outdoor covering, so it makes themselves go outdoor, or they put a timer on their phone and saying, okay, we got to go out today. And then the last point real quick I wanted to make is there's an amazing, I looked it up, social media network for those campers and RVers that are on the road full time. And it's called RV Village, RV and then Village. Look it up. I mean, you can meet the people along the way and let them know where you're at so you can have other meetups. So it's a really wonderful app to have called RV Village.
What is that? What specifically does it do? It just kind of finds people and pulls them together?
It can do that. You also can, when you enroll in it, you can put your route down and where you're located. So those of your friends that have met on the road, say you're in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and they happen to be coming through there, they can find you and contact you through the app itself.
It's like a real-time locator social app.
Yes, it's social media for full-time RVers.
That's very cool. That's a cool idea. Yeah. Like that.
Yeah.
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 As long as you don't owe somebody money.
That's right. You're going to outrun
I can
them
see where that really wouldn't work
in your
very
new
well.
electric RV.
Yeah, yeah. You're on the run in your Tesla RV or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing some studies now to ask RVers what they want in their new electric vehicles. And one of the things they're all saying is we want more than 3 hours before you have to charge, and we want fast charging stations. Also, in our campgrounds, we want the ability to charge in the campground itself. Like you have electric and water now, they want the ability to charge. If we're going to get an electric RV, that's what
You got to
people
have
are
it.
saying.
Yeah,
And I would add one thing to that is I want to be able to have power to get over the hills. Because you get stuck behind those old, slow RVs.
Be careful. Be careful.
Like Mark and Trish. Sorry,
require
Mark and Trish, but I wouldn't want to be stuck behind that big bus.
Yeah, that big old Wonder Lodge, 20 miles an hour up a hill. Oh, well, they did take good care of it. It was a pretty little rig.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
guess
in a museum now. Oh, man, I tell you, electric RVs, that would be okay, but Lisa does have a point. We've got the pedestal there in some of these RV parks, and it's just going to be a power-sucking monster, just powering your RV and then charging the batteries. They're going to end up charging for that eventually. So people think that this electric car thing is all free, but it's not. You're still paying for it. And
Even
people
if you
can
have a
argue.
Tesla, you're paying. When you go to those...
You still pay, but a lot of people think it's free, and it's really not. But the big problem I have, especially here in Idaho, is all of our power here in Idaho is off the grid, and it's coming from hydropower, dams and water falling and spinning turbines. And, we're really well balanced here in Idaho right now with the influx of people. And then you get more electric equipment, starts sucking out of the grid. It becomes a bigger issue.
Well, and the windmills, they just are not working.
They
don't
work.
Provide enough power.
And they're high maintenance.
The birds. They're really high maintenance.
Yeah.
And they come from China.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oops, boy, we're starting to get political here.
Yeah, let's go to Brandon.
Yeah,
let's go, Brandon.
Sorry, we're getting political. No, we're really not sorry. We're getting political. Get political. Get involved. We got elections coming up, by the way. Do the right thing.
Yep.
Do the right thing.
Yep.
It's really going to be important. Yeah. All right. What else you got that's fun?
That's what I got today. Let's go to Brandon.
You ready for Brandon?
Hear him.
Okay. Give a little synopsis of Brandon so we know a little bit about why he's on here. He's a road warrior.
He's a road warrior, and he has a fabulous website, and he only sells 3 things on his website, but it's things that every RVer may want to look at. One is upgrading to the lithium batteries. The second is a really cool piece that goes over the sink that fits in most RVs, and the other side is a cutting board. So again, that space versus utility, it works out really great. And then he found in the LTV, and these also fit some of the RVs, is on the skylights, they were having problems sleeping. And so he designed a special cover to put over the skylights that keeps the coolness in, the heat out, and the light. So it's definitely worth taking a look at his website, and he'll talk a little bit more about that on our podcast today.
So Brandon, we gave you a shameless plug, and we believe in you, and we really appreciate you letting us talk to you, and you had some really good stuff to say. So with further ado, as they say, let's go to Brandon. And Brandon Hensley, thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning, Brandon. Thank you for joining us today on the Frisky Biscuit Podcast.
Absolutely. I started listening to the Frisky Biscuit, and y'all do some awesome content. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, our whole genre is for road warriors. So people out on the road, including the truckers and the food truck people, and even the service people that service us, because we felt they got lost in the jumble with the pandemic part. So we thought we'd cater to them and to us, because we're part of the RV industry.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Yeah, I love it.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to buy a leisure travel van, since we both own the same van.
Yeah, so we got into I say we. Janet didn't get the RV bug until actually we got the RV. She was still very skeptical the entire time, but I got the RV bug. I somehow I love YouTube, so I watch a lot of YouTube because I just love learning, and I love the engineering channels. I love all of the different stuff where you can learn basically anything you want to learn. It's like a college degree, on your computer. And so somehow I got served a fifth wheel RV, how it works video. So I watched that, and I was, I was intrigued. So after I watched that, obviously YouTube said, "Oh, he must like that." So he started sending me more videos on my recommendations or whatever. So I got like, okay, that might actually be pretty fun. Janet and we're big travelers. So we travel, pre-pandemic, we were traveling internationally quite a bit. And we're both million milers on American. And I had a lack of want for driving anywhere. And so as I started looking at the RVs, I thought that actually might be kind of fun. Could I drive even an hour away? Because even that was kind of daunting to me. So we just started looking at I started looking at RVs, and then somehow I got into the big Class A's. I almost bought a Newmar Mountain Air, which is a 43-foot beast. Monsters, right? So, but they're very romantic in the sense when you think about driving this beast down the road. You're up high, you got the big window and all of that thing, and then all of the room it gives you and all of the storage underneath. You thought, wow, that is amazing. Well, I then stumbled across a leisure travel van video with Dean.
Oh, yeah.
And just said, wow, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Small, but still has all the amenities. We have an FX, so I've got 2 TVs, 2 living areas, so it's amazing what it has in it. So that's how we discovered leisure travel vans. And then I was very fortunate. I ordered in February of 2020, before we knew that the pandemic was a thing. And I actually got mine in May of 2020. So I got mine in a 2-month turnaround.
No way. We ordered ours in November of 2019 and didn't receive it until like 13 months later.
Yeah.
It took us a long time. I think we got caught because we have an FX2 in the pandemic supply chain and their shutdown. Mm-hmm. So boy, you got lucky in that part.
Yeah. So in February of 2020, this was when it wasn't supply chain issues. This was when the government was having an issue with Mercedes-Benz on those chassis.
Oh yeah.
The EPA was having an issue. So I stumbled across a guy from Leisure Travel Vans who said, "I have a spare chassis if you want it." Kind of kept it in my back pocket, and so I said, "Yeah." So ordered that day and got it 2 months later.
Oh my gosh. And you're loving every minute of it. I know we love your channel, Pagosa Adventures. And for those in our audience that haven't watched your channel, it's great. Your videos are well done. the information that comes through. We just really adore you for letting us know about the speaker system and how to open up all the speakers.
Yeah.
And I know you have a supply company too. How did you get the name Pagosa, since your name is Brandon Hensley?
So my family has been going to the Pagosa Springs area of Colorado since my grandfather started taking my mother and her siblings there in the 40s.
Oh, wow.
And so I've been going my entire life. Janet and I own property up there, and the Pagosa Springs is an awesome place. It's it's right next to the Continental Divide. The mountains are beautiful. The town is awesome. So, and Pagosa means healing waters, because they actually have real hot springs. And so, and it's a Ute Indian word, or Native American word, should I say, that means healing waters. And so when we decided to venture out and get, and start manufacturing some RV products and different things, again, that's another hobby, is, I said, well, let's just call it Pagosa Supply Co. Kind of sounds cool. And then I said, the YouTube channel can support that, so I'll call that Pagosa Adventures. So that's where it all comes from.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've been there before. It's just such a lovely place, and it is healing. Like when you walk out, I felt like all my cares and worries went away after that.
Yeah. I mean, that's my favorite area in the world. Yeah.
Where else do you go in your RV? I know you live in Texas, right?
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of the West. So I really love going west. So I like to chase weather. I like to chase cool weather. And that's one of the big reasons for, owning property in Colorado or an RV, is I just can't take these summers here in Dallas anymore. I mean, it is so hot and humid that I just don't like it. So we try to get out. That's why, we'll go to, we spend about 2 or 3 weeks in England every summer. So that gets me out of the heat and humidity. Then of course we can take the RV to, altitude. And so, that's so I love to go west. I love to go to altitude where it's cooler.
So you've had your RV for about 1.5 years now?
Yeah. In fact, May is 2 years. So we'll have had it 2 years. So my warranty's running out. So.
Oh yeah, you better jump on that.
Yeah. Fortunately, I haven't,
What's been the most embarrassing moment that you've had in your RV?
Well, fortunately I haven't had very many. So, we did have, like, our second trip out, our equalizer stabilizers or levelers. It had one of them totally failed and just spewed hydraulic fluid all over this beautiful concrete pad at Windstar RV Resort, which Windstar is on the border of Oklahoma and Texas. A place we'll go just go for a weekend, and it's just the most beautiful RV park with these pristine concrete pads. And I felt so bad because, I mean, it was just hydraulic fluid all over this pristine pad. So that's probably the most embarrassing, because I felt really bad and went and told them, and I'm assuming they put kitty litter or something on it to try to get the stain up. So, but yeah, but other than that, we locked ourselves out of the
How'd
RV.
You do that? Do you have the key fob?
Yeah. So I actually have a video on that too. If somebody wants to watch it, because it's a little bit of a don't do what I did. But yeah, so we were having trouble with that key fob. The only time I've ever had trouble with the electric key fob, somehow it wasn't working, and so we left the key. I left the keys in the RV, walked out, slammed the door, and then it worked and it locked.
Oh, shit.
Okay, and that was everything. It was obviously the cab doors, that door, everything. Fortunately, we were in Colorado at the time, and it was cool, and so I had the skylight open. Oh. Now, one of my big regrets is I didn't get a ladder. I didn't get the ladder option, which I wish I would have.
You know what? We didn't either, and we're regretting it. We're even thinking about going back to the factory in Canada to put the ladder on, because it's almost impossible to get on the roof.
Yeah, I will probably do that as well. And fortunately, my neighbor at this RV park had a Class A, and he had a full size ladder, like a 12-foot ladder, 10-foot ladder, or whatever. So I got up there and I was able to get in through the skylight. But since then, I bought one of those, lock boxes, and I put an extra set of door keys in the lockbox, keep it in a bay that is unlocked. And so that shouldn't happen again if it does. So that's a little bit of a been there, done that moment. So put yourself a lockbox with extra keys in case you lock yourself out.
Good. That's really good advice. And
Yeah.
I know that you have some other upgrades that you've done too. And I wanted to mention your channel, pagosaSupply.co. The 3 things that if you have a leisure travel van, or tell us a little bit more about the products, because are they only for leisure travel vans? Can they be used for other RVs? I know you've got 3 really main things that are very helpful.
Yeah. So I've got so one of my friends, he's an entrepreneur as well, and so he's younger than myself and a lot of energy and a lot of ambition, whereas I'm more like, just let me get out in my RV now, I'm done with everything. But
Oh, nice.
yeah, so he is like he says, I want to let's start a company, let's figure something out and manufacture things. So we start out with a cutting board sink cover. So in our leisure travel vans, as well, we have a Corian sink cover. I guess they just cut the sink cover out, then they turn it into a sink cover, right? It's heavy. It's not a cutting board or anything. It's useful when it's in there, but it's heavy, like I said. So we developed a cutting board in that same exact shape and size. That's either bamboo or it's what we call Arctic white, which matches our which I actually prefer over the bamboo, by the way. And it's super lightweight. It's a cutting board, sink cover, whole kit and caboodle. So there are a few others. I learned pretty recently that Tiffin Wayfarers also uses the same sink as leisure travel van, so it fits in a Tiffin Wayfarer. Fits in. My sister has a Winnebago Vegas. It fits in hers. So there, I don't know exactly which ones it is, but if you have a 16.25-inch diameter sink, it works. And then we also developed, and all of these I developed out of just needing a product and it not existing. And so I thought, well, I'm going to make one, might as well make 10,000 of them, right? And offer them to everybody. So then we also developed a skylight insulator cover for our skylights. Now our skylights are great, but here in Texas, I mean, it is a magnifying glass, and it just makes it hard to cool the coach down because all of that sun coming in those 2 skylights. And so we developed a skylight cover. A couple of them are pretty universal, the rectangle ones, but we developed the Murphy bed unit, the MB unit of a leisure travel van actually has a triangle skylight because they have a corner shower. Mm-hmm. And so we put all of our engineering, hats on and figured out all the angles and created even a skylight insulated cover for that. But a couple of them are universal because a lot of people use that same hatch that the leisure travel van uses.
Yes.
And then that triangle shower skylight that we have in ours, pretty universal. So yeah, that fits in it. And then we're also Lithionics lithium battery dealers. So I discovered, early on that I wanted to make sure I wasn't handcuffed to a power pole. So I bought a 315 amp hour Lithionics battery. Had a great relationship with the owner of that company, Steven. And after I kind of made a video on it, had tons of leisure travel van owners want these Lithionics batteries in their coach. Well, he's not interested in selling one battery. So he sells 10,000 to Winnebago, or he sells to NASA. He sells to Disney. Disney has all of those boats that are actually electric. Their ferries are all electric and all Lithionics batteries, right? So he likes selling Disney $1 million worth of batteries rather than you and me one battery, right? So he asked us to become a Lithionics dealer, to be an online dealer for them. So now it's easy peasy. You can buy online, and we actually have all the guides. And I'm editing a video now. Sandra Johnson, I don't know if you know who Sandra Johnson is. She's what we call her the Empress of Electricity. She's a retired nuclear engineer who installs these batteries and new inverters. And so we actually I filmed her installing a new inverter, switching all of the breakers over to the inverter side so you can run your air conditioner on the battery. And so I'm actually finishing up editing that. So we'll have that how-to video of how to self-install a brand new inverter and battery.
Do you have any other upgrades that you're going to do on your site, or is there anything else you want to upgrade with your van?
Well, we've been kind of thinking about that and trying to figure out, Leisure does a good job. I mean, they outside of the sink cover and the, and not providing covers for those skylights, they really do a good job of everything. And so, Leisure's really just been our niche, just because that's what I have. Now we're getting our new RV in about a month. So I ordered a Airstream Globetrotter. And so we're going to have a towable as well. And so I wanted to experience, because I love my leisure travel van. But I also wanted to experience Airstream life. So we ordered a Airstream. So that's supposed to be here at the end of May. So I'm assuming there's going to be things I'm going to find in that I'll like, okay, let's manufacture this and fix that problem. So we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, there's a big group of leisure travel van people and a big group of Airstream people. It's like we love our products. So I'm sure you'll find some things along the way. What do you see in talking to people and in your experience, any changes that are coming up, say in the next 5 years? Where do you see the RV industry going?
Well, I do think that, especially with with campsites now being so difficult. I can't tell you how many stupid times I forgot to book a campsite on the way home or something, whether, and couldn't find one. You have to boondock, right? Well, that's why I'm thankful for my big battery, is that, I've got power with me, so we can cool the coach down with our air conditioner on battery. And so I do see that the industry will understand that people don't want to plug into a power pole as often. Now, there's always going to be, weekend warriors or whatever that, okay, I'm not going to spend, all of this money to get lithium in a big inverter and solar and all of that. I'll find an RV park and I'll plug in, right? But there's so many more of us that do want to go out on BLM land, or, if we do need to stay at a Cracker Barrel overnight and not run out of power. So I do think the lithium and the being more self-reliant in your RV is going to be a thing.
In your experience, for the young people that are just getting into this, because it looks like the numbers are going down into younger and younger generations getting into this type of lifestyle, do you have any wisdom to pass on to the younger generation?
Yeah, just do it, because, in my estimate, well, I would guess that, I'm fortunate, I'm blessed to be able to have 2 RVs, things like that, right? But when we were younger, we didn't, right? And so while I was maybe more concentrating on things, I should have, I really wish I would have been investing in experiences as well, right? And so get whatever RV you can afford, there are used RVs that are maybe a teardrop or something that's under $10,000, right? That you can pull with, a little SUV or something. You don't have to get a leisure travel van or a Newmar Mountain Air or a Airstream. The Airstreams are very expensive, right? Those are, for later in life. But as a young person, just get whatever you can afford. And really, instead of, maybe going out and doing Starbucks every single day, put your money towards an experience such as RVing in even with a tent that's on top of a Jeep. Just anything that will get you out there, get you those experiences, and enjoy nature, get out of the cities. That's probably the biggest advice I have, is just wherever you are at your walk in life, and just get what you can, right? And don't wait.
And I just have to ask you this, is how many people have said, "Let's go Brandon" to you?
Oh yeah, all the time.
I grew up in Brandon, Florida, so it's somewhat of an unusual name. It's not your typical John or.
Yeah, I definitely, I guess my parents were ahead of the curve, because I'm definitely the oldest Brandon you probably have ever known. I think it's getting more common out there with younger, but anyway, yeah. But yeah, I get that all the time in the comments.
You do? Yeah. It gives you a good laugh, huh?
Yeah, it's funny.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate you coming on Frisky Biscuits, and we'll send you a link. And thank you so much, Brandon.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoyed it and enjoy listening to you guys. Really love it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Brandon Hensley, we really appreciate it, and thank you so much for taking time with us, Brandon. And he does have some great products, especially for the leisure travel van. And there's a bunch of you out there that have that, and we would really appreciate it. Also, if you are with leisure travel van or any other motorhome and driving around the country, that you would like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. We're looking for 1,000 subscribers. Sounds like a lot, but it's really not. We'd really appreciate it, and spread the word on us, right? Mm-hmm. Spread the word on us and let us know how to find us, or in fact, let them know how to find us on all our locations.
Our website has everything on it, and you can even donate to us if you wanted to, just to throw that out there. We'll pay for some of this equipment. So it's frisky-biscuit.com, and our YouTube channel is Frisky Biscuit Podcast. Those are probably two of the best ways. And you can email us through both of them or leave comments on the YouTube channel. And we look forward to seeing you out on the road and doing the interviews with you guys, the road warriors. So it'll be fun.
We really appreciate all of you who watch this and pay attention to this and listen to us on the podcast channels. We do this for a lot of fun, but also we're really into the people that are out there driving for a living, like truck drivers, you food truck drivers. We here in our location just this weekend, I saw a couple of them out there working, and they really do make an event fun. If you stop and think about when you go to an event, what is one of the things you look forward to? Our neighbor here, we're going to talk about Dr. Tim here for just a second. He we went to the Gooding County Fair over here in Central Idaho, and the first thing both of us came up with, we're going to get a corn dog. So food trucks make an event. Yes. And these are kind of unsung heroes. But truck drivers, the guys that are hauling stuff around, they're having a tough time right now. This fuel thing is out of control, and we really appreciate them. So food truck drivers, people that have the motorhomes out there, they are pushing the economy, making things happen for us. And one of the nice things about that is these guys that are out there driving the motorhomes are buying gas, they're buying food, they're going to restaurants. They're helping a lot of small businesses in small towns save themselves right now. So people may point their finger at a motorhome going down the road, but they're slow and they're cumbersome and they're just big old pigs driving the road. But these people are out there helping keep the economy going. So we honor motorhomers. And then people that are commuting to work. Good Lord, think about going to work. You make so much money, and now you're paying all this gas, and and
there's a lot of commuters, hour and a half drives to work.
Your brother's one of those.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people out there. In fact, I met a gal last week, and she drives an hour every day. So she loves podcasts, and they're always looking for new podcasts. And a big majority of the podcasters are in their 30s and 40s because they are commuting and they are out on the road a lot, and they love the podcast. It's the new radio. So we'd love for you to click on to us, Frisky Biscuit.
Yes, please do. The biscuit. And yes. I have a hard time spelling it, but it is there. And we really appreciate it. So you had a couple other little tidbits, something about fishing you were mentioning earlier.
If you're an RVer and you're going fishing and you're traveling around, there's a couple of rules that you ought to know. One is if you're going to Oregon, make sure when you go fishing, you are not using canned corn to fish with as your bait, because it is illegal there. And know that if you're in Indiana and Kansas, you cannot fish with your bare hands. And I just wonder where these laws come from, but they're still on the books. And also, if you want to go whale hunting and whale fishing, it is illegal to do it in Nebraska. And in Ohio, it's banned on Sundays.
That makes total sense.
Yes, in the middle of the country.
Yeah, like I said in the last video, who in the hell makes these laws? This is a lot of stupid stuff people waste their time on.
And the last one in Tennessee, it is illegal to lasso a fish. So all of those people that just moved to Tennessee, do not lasso your fish. It is not legal in Tennessee.
I tell you what, it's time for us to go bye-bye. You know, we appreciate all of you listening and watching and liking and subscribing and dinging and all that kind of stuff you're supposed to be doing. But the biggest thing I guess we want people to know is we appreciate you and we appreciate what you do. And if you're out there struggling, stay in the fight. Stay in the fight. Remember to vote. And we will see you next time. Until then, this is Lisa and Dr. Gary wishing you a great week. And we will be back in 1 week, if not sooner.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.